North Carolina is recommended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank each of you for coming. And I want to start off by saying that there are a tremendous amount of dedicated workers. I know in Veterans Affairs, there's a number of very dedicated employees. Our committee staff here is unbelievably dedicated. They do a great job truly for the American people. So I don't want anything to be misconstrued or out there that there's not an appreciation for those who serve our country and work in government, because these hearings can come out that way. At the same time, we must address a few of these issues, because I've got other governmental agencies saying, why in the world do they get to travel? And I've got people in the Blue Ridge Parkway who can't go from one end of the Blue Ridge Parkway to others in their service area without having to come back because of the unbelievable spending that goes in other areas. With that being said, we've got some $762,000 that was spent, according to the IG's report. And Ms. Pharisee, you've said, and Mr. Murray, you've said as well, that top officials didn't know about it. That it wasn't the proper oversight. Could you put up an email slide here, cue up the slide for me? This is an email, a senior official email to conference planners that says, and I quote, "Bottom line, you don't have to worry about a thing." Now, when a top official asserts to conference planners that they don't have to worry about the funding, does that not send the wrong message? Mr. Murray?
Absolutely. I mean, it's totally the wrong message.
Okay. When do I get to tell the veterans in North Carolina, of which you do not have a good track record of processing claims in North Carolina? Many of the veterans that I talk to have to wait some as many as 600 days to get their claims handled. When do I get to tell them, bottom line, you don't have to worry about a thing? When are we going to get to that point? Does this type of spending, Ms. Pharisee, when we send out a word like this, what does it tell the American people when we say bottom line? Does it show that we have an unlimited budget in the VA?
Congressman, we absolutely don't have an unlimited budget, and I think it shows a past history of bad decisions, bad leadership, that controls have been put on.
I agree. So how many people got fired because of the bad leadership and bad decisions? How many? I think I know the answer. How many got fired for bad leadership and bad decisions?
None fired that I am aware of.
Okay. Mr. Murray? How many in your organization got fired?
None in my organization.
Okay. How many of them got disciplined greatly in your organization, Mr. Murray?
There was no discipline in my...
So no discipline, no firings, but yet we have bad leadership and bad decisions. Let's go on a little bit further, because I'm even more troubled by the next slide, if you'll cue this up. Here's an email that the department approved a $450,000 marketing budget for a conference. Now, why do we need such a large marketing budget to make employees go to a conference that they're required to go to? Why would we do that? I mean, who makes that decision? Who would have made the decision to approve that?
The leadership of HRNA at the time would have made that decision. Okay,
and they're still employed, right? This was a good decision on their part to market it?
They are no longer with the VA.
Okay. And you were very kind, Ms. Pharisee, in the way that you responded. And I want to thank you for your service and thank you for the way that you responded. Mr. Murray, I'm a little bit troubled because as we see these emails coming out, don't ever play poker, because you're there rolling your eyes and huffing and having disdain for the IG as these emails come out. Do you think that your organization does a great job, Mr. Murray?
My organization, whenever We become aware of these issues. We find weaknesses in internal controls, whether the IG finds it, General Accountability Office finds it, our internal or external auditors find them. We immediately take actions to correct, mitigate, fix these kind of deficiencies. We have a good collaborative relationship with the IG, and we work in a transparent and accountable fashion with you.
Yeah, but your demeanor today at this hearing doesn't show that. I've been watching you. I watch people all the time, and so your demeanor would indicate that you're a little frustrated by these emails as they roll out. Is there to agree with the story that this is indicative of those that are making decisions, that they didn't have an accountability for cost?
The employees that work for me, the employees I work with, the leaders I work with, have a strong accountability for the costs, for their actions, exercise good judgment. So I find this very dismaying, very disappointing, sir. And that's the expression I'd like to convey.
All right. So when does this translate into my veterans in North Carolina being able to count the moms and dads, the children, counting on those being taken care of? When are we going to get our act together? Not just on conferences. I yield back.